Welcome to You Ought to Watch This Movie, the podcast about movies from the first decade of the 2000s, aka the aughts. Follow along and explore a movie from the aughts, getting unbridled opinions from two millennials. Sit back, relax, and enjoy one of the best decades in movies.
Welcome back to You Ought to Watch This Movie, or
Yada! The best podcast covering the movies from the aughts.
I don't know if it's the best, but I mean,
It's the only one.
I don't know if that's true either.
But it doesn't matter. It's true right now. It's the only one they're listening to at this very moment, so it's
Okay.
the best one.
Okay, so
What are we doing here today?
this episode we are reviewing X-Men from 2000.
Oh, that's the movie we just watched.
Well, yeah, we just watched it for this. But disclaimer, like, we've already seen this movie before. This is the first movie that both of us have seen previously.
Yeah, indeed. And
Multiple times.
yeah, I mean, how many times has it been on like FX or some other? Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. So
It's okay though. Made for good watching this time.
yes, if you haven't watched X-Men, the live action from 2000, it is on Disney Plus. I'm not sure if it's on other streaming services, but you could also rent or buy it. And so if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back. I mean, if you want to, go watch it and come back. And then we will get into our thoughts about
For
it.
those renting, you cannot rent this from Hollywood Video or Blockbuster as they no longer exist.
Or Redbox, potentially. I mean,
I
not the
don't
physical
know.
ones.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. You know, Redbox was a good idea until they started putting up the signs. Now it's digitally available. Wait a minute. What? Anyways, so here is our summary for X-Men.
But first, I need to say this was released July 14th,
Oh.
2000.
Well, that is a familiar birthday, or I'm sorry, a familiar date. It, could correspond to a certain birth date. I don't know.
Miles's birthday.
Yes, indeed. Which is 6 days prior to Colin's birthday.
A year ahead. Yes.
And a decade apart.
All right. So now that everybody knows our birthdays, please send us gifts.
That is 100% why we said all of that.
All right, trailer.
Bum, 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 bum.
Am I going? Or
Yeah, you're going.
Oh. Well, the trailer we watched, there are probably multiple trailers, but the one that we watched did not have a voiceover as most of the trailers have had. There was text, like in between scenes, as kind of a voiceover, and Professor X was talking, like, over the scenes. So that was kind of it, but it wasn't the voiceover, like, with the deep voice and...
This summer.
Yeah, not that. Then I said I've already seen this, so I know it will be better than the last two movies. And I'm not really an action movie fan. Like, for all of these comic book movies, I always get bored during the, like, fight scenes and action scenes. But I try to watch the comic book movie adaptations because I get FOMO, which is fear of missing out.
Okay.
That's all my notes for the trailer.
My trailer summary is this trailer has a very battle-esque feel to it, which I guess is sort of on is sort of spot on from the 97 series X-Men. However, The text overlays start off really simple, which makes me feel like they went over budget and had to compensate. Like, the text overlays, like, they look like almost something like you'd see in like PowerPoint back in the day. But then, like whenever they're introducing the characters, then they're, like super CGI. And it's like, what's the difference? Either way, I still know that I like this movie.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, well, I read that they had, I don't know if they went over budget, but I read that they had a lower budget than most of the other movies that summer. Like, it was supposed to be released in December and then it moved to July. And then I guess they were afraid that this wouldn't be a good, like, it wouldn't continue.
Yeah,
like
here
the
we
franchise.
are 23 years later, 24 years, 25 years later.
Yeah.
And yet, there he is again.
Well,
playing Logan.
that was 24 years.
Whatever.
But still, like, yes, they didn't think the franchise would continue, so I think they got a lower budget than the other going rate.
Clearly, they underestimated the comic nerds out there.
Yeah.
Which all of us just, like saw this and pushed up our glasses and yeah, yes, we want to see this movie, but it was terrible. That Gambit was not in there.
Was he supposed to be with the X-Men?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know comic books very well. I don't think liking comic books makes you a nerd. I think being a nerd makes you a nerd. Like not wanting to hang out with people or I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough. So, what do you have for special guest appearances?
Well, I have to tell you
summary.
a summary, which isn't a very good summary, I think. But
Oh, I'm interested in your summary.
I try to keep them short, and I write them myself, so I don't like plagiarize.
Or you're not relying on a producer, for like some other podcast that rhymes with schmuckshil. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not talking about you, Michael Rosenbaum.
A team of mutants fights the villain Magneto on his quest to seek revenge against humanity.
I would say that's accurate.
Well, yeah. I couldn't think of anything else.
Well, it's also based out of fear. But I guess revenge is fear.
I thought he turned angry because of his, childhood, I thought.
Yeah.
And then that turned into, like, he hates humanity. He can't see any good in them.
Humanity, Charles. So who were they played by? Who were all the wonderful people played by?
Oh, well, I put the people that I knew, and I mean, I guess I should put...
I feel like that Professor Charles Xavier, he looks stupid familiar. Where is he from?
Well, we know him as... well, he's played by Sir Patrick Stewart, and he's...
Oh, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Well, I know that he has a Sir in front of his name.
That's for British people.
Okay, well, Patrick Stewart, and he's most notable, like he's most well known for playing.
Oh, that's
Captain
right. He
Picard.
plays. Oh, I was going to say something else.
Oh,
Not Captain Picard.
oh.
Oh.
Well,
I thought you were talking about Ebenezer Scrooge.
well, he did play Scrooge as well, but his most notable role is Captain Picard from Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I guess I didn't put him on my list, but Ian McKellen, who's also probably a Sir, but I don't know that for sure, was in the Lord of the Rings movies, right? He plays Gandalf.
Wow, no, I never watched him.
Oh, I thought you would know that.
No.
Well, I didn't put him on my list because I didn't know him.
Yeah, I do know that him and Patrick Swayze Stewart are best of friends in real life.
Yeah, he played Gandalf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew they were friends. The next person on my list was Hugh Jackman,
Like
which
Huge Ackman. What a terrible name. Is that his name? Huge Ackman?
no, Hugh space Jackman.
Oh, okay. All right. Just for reference, I took that joke from the Night of the Museum 3.
Oh, okay.
Whenever the guy runs up stage, the Camelot guy, and Hugh Jackman is playing Romeo or something, and he's like, no, 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 this is all fake. My name is Hugh Jackman. And he's like, your name is Huge Ackman?
Well, I mean, he's most well known for playing Wolverine, but he's been in other things as well. And
We don't care about
well, he was in The Greatest Showman. That's important.
Oh, yeah, okay, we care about that one. That's a good one.
James Marsden, who's been in lots of things, but I also know him
Who
from
did
the
James Marsden play?
Cyclops.
Oh, okay. Oh, 'cause I immediately, like, that's not his name. His name's Scott. And I'm like, oh, no, no. Cyclops' real name is Scott. The actor's name is different.
I also, and Miles does, but I also know him from The Notebook.
Oh, God.
You don't mind The Notebook?
I don't, but you're tarnishing my view of Cyclops from X-Men with some jealous boyfriend type, which has no bearing on
He was a
Cyclops.
jealous boyfriend in this movie.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying is like what's the girl's name in the Notebook?
Allie.
Allie cheats on this dude in the Notebook. All right? He was a jealous boyfriend here. Okay? That's just Cyclops. All right?
I don't see the difference.
The difference is he had a right in the Notebook to be upset.
Oh, okay. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Then you shouldn't be mad I'm bringing it up.
No, that's part of the quirk about Cyclops.
Okay, moving on. Halle Berry, which, I mean, she's been in tons of stuff. I don't really know her from anything specifically. I know she played Catwoman sometime.
Meow. Okay. Yeah.
And she was in that New Year's Eve movie we just watched. For New
Oh,
Year's
yeah.
Eve.
Yeah. That is a play off of Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yeah. But she's not in that one.
Shawn Ashmore. We know him from
Who
Smallville.
is Shawn Ashmore?
He is the ice.
Oh,
person.
the ice dude. Yeah.
And so we know him from Smallville. He played Eric Summers. He played the guy that stole Clark's power. Well, not really stole, but like got Clark's powers from a power surge.
And then they had to go to the dam, and then there was that big old fight scene.
Yes, and his twin Aaron Ashmore played longer on Smallville as Jimmy Olsen.
It's
So I
incredible that in that last 30 seconds, we covered more information than a certain podcast would have. That's actually about the show and has, individuals running the podcast who are part of the show. Anyways, I digress.
Okay, yes. And so I always forget which one is in X-Men. I always have to look it up. I might remember this time. And we also knew Famke Janssen, who plays Jean Grey, because she was in an episode of TNG. She played
episode?
the Metamorph, the one. I have to. Oh, I should know the title. But it's the one where she is in that egg, and she's a gift for a.
Go on. What episode is it?
I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Oh, you know it. You're just trying to confirm. What is it? Say it from your heart.
I don't know it. Okay, please stop embarrassing me on our podcast.
There's no embarrassment. What is it? Drumroll, please. Okay, well, she's looking that up.
Hold on.
You can hear a cat who is harassing us through the other side of the door over here. He claims that he doesn't get enough treats. What episode?
I don't know because I hate IMDb on the desktop. It's not as I don't know where anything is on there.
Well,
No, I can get it in like 5 seconds.
so as I was saying, you can hear this lovely cat just harassing us because this cat believes he does not receive enough treats. But I can confirm, and so can Colin, that he does indeed receive plenty of treats. In fact, out of the treats we do get, he eats the most of them out of all the cats. Probably all the cats, if we were just going to compare against the larger set of cats in the neighborhood, I would imagine he eats the most treats out of all of them. But yet, he whines to a door. What is it?
I wouldn't have ever figured this out
What
because
is
I'm
it?
so scattered. I'm so
What is it?
flustered. The perfect mate.
The perfect mate. That doesn't even
Yes.
sound right.
Well, anyway, she played a metamorph, somebody that, the first man she can, like, mold to any man, I guess, like, their wants. But she's a gift for this ambassador or diplomat or somebody. But she, like, falls in love with Captain Picard.
I thought it was Riker.
No, she falls in love. Well, she flirts with Riker. She flirts with everybody. But she
Wow.
falls in love with Captain Picard because they have, like, a deeper connection.
Well, transitioning about, falling in love and flirting, I think is a good point to bring up. And, the primary comment I made is, who the hell wants their ability where you can't touch people to form whenever you're having your first kiss? Which is exactly what happened to Rogue. And it's just like, bro, that is unfortunate, to say the very least.
Yes.
I feel like, have you seen the George Clooney Batman and Robin?
Yes, but
Like how Poison Ivy puts, or how Poison Ivy kisses the individual and they become poisoned, and Robin overcomes it by putting that plastic thing over his lips.
Okay.
First off, is like like French kissing and you're done, but it's like why not just put that plastic over your lips and like I don't know.
I don't know. They haven't thought of it, I guess.
But that is such a depressing way to, gain your ability. And then, she runs away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What, don't you have someone else?
No, that's all.
Oh, okay. So, one thing I liked about the Rogue character is the accent, which I can't remember whether or not that the actual comic character Rogue was inflicted with a Southern drawl.
Inflicted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was clear that Gambit was. I mean, he's from Louisiana. He spoke. That was established. Okay, but I wasn't sure whether or not. But I absolutely. Oh my God! It sprinkled happiness on my heart whenever Patrick Picard as Charles Xavier introduced Storm, Cyclops, and Jean all by their actual full name. I was like, that is accurate. Like they're paying homage to the comic book readers, and the cartoon watchers, which I was both of. And so I was really, really happy about that. It made it that much better. And that's probably something that, really resonated with a lot of people, because if they weren't expecting it to do well, and paying that homage to the comic book readers in the cartoon, definitely did well. But again, it was a poor decision on their part to wait 24 years to include Gambit. But nonetheless, I'm glad they did, and I'm glad it was Channing Tatum. I wonder how old he was then. I don't know if, like...
1 year ago?
No. X-Men. We're talking about X-Men.
In 2000?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wonder what that age, him playing Gambit would have looked like. Probably wouldn't have been the right fit, though.
He's probably not much older than us. Oh. He's 10 years older than... He has the same birthday as Tom Welling.
Wait a minute. So he could have played Gambit back then,
He would have been 20.
Oh my gosh, he would have been an excellent Gambit.
But he might not have been, like, popular then.
Who cares? He nailed Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. And he talked about, how as a kid he watched, X-Men and he read it. Oh, man. So as they did a disservice by not finding Channing Tatum earlier and casting him as Gambit. But nonetheless, I'm just glad that they finally figured it out. Because he's my favorite X-Men.
My first comment was, I love the 20th Century Fox opening.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sad that it doesn't exist anymore.
What? It's not that sad. It exists in Deadpool and Wolverine. But,
Not the opening. Like,
I know that,
like
but the whole sign is destroyed in there. Oh, yeah. No, that is a good opening. It's very recognizable. Like, if you're in another room and you hear, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
you immediately, yeah.
And it's better. It's more exciting than that THX thing.
Oh, and then it's like so unnecessary. Just, it's like a conglomeration of noise with no purpose except to let you know, hey, this is a movie. I'm here. We're starting.
I know. So I had a prop. I have a prop because you said that you read the comics and saw the cartoon or watched the cartoon. My first introduction to X-Men was, well, I don't know if I had seen this movie like on TV, like in passing. I can't remember. But I feel like my first introduction to X-Men was this book, a crossover.
Hold it like you did. Vanna White.
A crossover with TNG characters and X-Men characters where they do reference how Professor X looks a lot like Captain Picard.
Oh, no
and
way.
I think I read this in junior high, like eighth or ninth grade.
Is Gambit in here?
I don't remember. I read it once, and that was again when I was like 13 or 14. So like 20 years ago.
Well, I need to find out if Gambit's in here.
All right, well, I'm sure we can do a quick Google search later.
Yeah, well, we could just read this in the entirety for the remaining part of the podcast. We can figure it out.
All right, my next comment was, I thought it was funny, ironic, that just as Wolverine says that he doesn't need advice from Rogue about wearing his seatbelt, they hit something and he flies out the window.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty funny. Okay, if Nightcrawler's in here, Gambit's got to be in here. When was this written? Pocketbooks? Okay, it was written in 1998. Okay, so Gambit might be in there. We'll figure it out. But, yeah, Professor X. That's so weird. It's so cool how, like someone, would combine these two, as X-Men Planet X. Oh, wait. Hold on real quick, because now I'm seeming to remember that there was an entire comic, Planet X X-Men, that an entire series that revolved around. It was a yes, it was a storyline. Oh, that is so neat. Okay, that was a later storyline. So, nonetheless, I wonder. That really makes me think, who came up with Planet X first, this author, or Marvel?
Maybe that author wrote for the comics.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll have to look.
That's a very interesting
Probably
point.
not on our podcast.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, I definitely enjoyed the movie. I feel like for a movie production not to know whether or not it was going to continue, and then have all those flashbacks that were so detailed, like with respect to, Logan's origins, and then were subsequently involved, is like, maybe, the people on the movie just knew, oh, you guys are idiots at the, studio, HQ. We know this is going to do well, because, the flashbacks that they had were very, very good, and to preceding, subsequent sequels, that have to do with Logan's original thing. What you looking at?
Don't draw attention to it.
To what?
I'm looking at how much time we've recorded.
Oh,
Don't draw attention to that.
Oh, well, brand new news. We are no longer restricted to the 30-minute time frame.
What about that?
No, because the technology that we are using now lets us extend far beyond.
Well, okay. Let's not make it a habit, though.
Yeah, obviously. But if there's something really cool that we wanted to do, we could speak for hours and hours, and the listeners would love it and love it.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Do you want to grade it?
I have more things to say.
Oh, excuse me.
I mean, I haven't gone down my list.
Go down your list.
I have.
We love a good list.
I
Homage
have
to an actually good podcast.
I have a piece of trivia that I should have realized when we were watching the movie, but according to IMDb, the Professor Xavier's school is also the Luthor Mansion.
Shut up. No way. Oh, man. Of course it was.
And it was also used as the Queen Mansion in Arrow.
Okay.
And they said something else, but I didn't write it down. But that doesn't matter. It was more important that it was Lex's mansion, really, from Smallville. And I said I should have caught that.
Yeah. That's so cool.
And then I liked how Cyclops was like, what do you want? Yellow spandex? Because I assume that's from the
great
comics.
callback to the, comment. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he finally wears it in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this was short for a comic book superhero movie. It was only an hour and a half.
Okay.
Once you chop off the credits.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, go to Avengers Endgame, and that was 4 hours, or 3.5 or something.
It's so long. Not unnecessarily, though.
Have you seen it?
What, Endgame? I've seen, I'd say maybe 2/3 of it, just because it's on TV all the time. But I'm never bored.
I deliberately don't watch it because I know people die, and I don't want to be too surprised when we actually get to it, but I know eventually I'll just have to know who dies.
Right, okay. Fair enough.
Okay, I guess that was all. I feel like we spent more time talking about the actors and fun facts, but...
Well, that's okay. We can, enjoy the actors. So, what do we want to grade it?
Oh, I gave it a 90%.
A 90%.
Yeah.
So, that would equate to an A-.
An A. Yeah, A-.
A-.
Still an A. An A's an A.
It definitely takes a hit for not having Gambit.
If you couldn't guess, that's his favorite character. Apparently.
Yes. Unequivocally, absolutely, hands down, Gambit. It also takes another considerable hit. I mean, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it specifically lacks Gambit. So
Can't take 2 hits for that.
You're right. Well, other than the fact that, as previously mentioned, it lacks Gambit, I would... Well, okay, all right. To be fair, it does, It includes Cyclops, Storms, Toad, which Toad is an awesome character, in and of itself. Wolverine, Jean Grey, Rogue, which I liked Rogue a lot. I just can't get over that Gambit, though. I will rank it a 92, an A minus. And only because they did not pick the right characters to play. Oh my gosh, I'm completely drawing on his name. Who is that? The guy Wolverine fights.
Sabretooth?
Yes. Oh my gosh, why could I not freaking think of his name? I was thinking of Sebastian. I'm like, who do I know that's Sebastian? I know Sir. Who do I know as Sir as the beginning of the name? Sergey? Come on, they worked with you.
Sergio.
There it is. Okay, yeah. Anyways, well, Sabretooth. They could have picked better actors for him. And, but that's just, me. Anyway, 92, A minus, but still a great movie.
Do you want to know another fun fact?
Oh, I would love to hear your other fun fact.
The actor who played Toad also played Darth Maul.
Oh my goodness, I can see it. I can completely see it because of the makeup. I can absolutely see it.
Well, his name's Ray Park.
Yeah, an excellent like choreographer or skilled movement individuals, because playing Darth Maul was difficult. Fighting with a dual lightsaber and doing all those flips and stuff, and then all the stuff he did in here. That was pretty cool.
Well, do you think he did all those flips, or was it a stunt person?
I believe he did all of those flips.
Oh, okay.
I believe that he did, because I seem to remember seeing some back, some behind the scenes footage from Star Wars Episode 1, where they, like Darth Maul was doing all these crazy things. Oh. But anyways, with that said, go watch this movie if you haven't already. It is a good movie. It's not necessarily family friendly.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's PG-13, so
family
for
friendly
older kids.
Yeah, for older kids. So
it's not rated R. Mm-hmm. I don't see how we get from PG-13 to, and it was definitely a tame PG-13 compared to others.
Like a certain movie we watched that was rated PG-13, and it included a whole bunch of space sex.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand how they do ratings, but whatever.
I don't either.
But until next time, we will be back. And you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, you want to close this out?
Okay. Until next time, I'm Colin.
And I'm Miles. And this has been
Yadam.
She said it. See ya.
Thanks for listening to You Ought to Watch This Movie, a podcast about movies from the first decade of the 2000s, aka the aughts. Be sure to subscribe for new episodes covering movies you ought to watch. We'll see you next time.